My first encounter with Ray was a little over a year ago, or about a year ago. He was speaking at the Halifax Club. And he made this comment. He said, 400 students sitting in a theater writing a multiple choice exam is not what Plato and Aristotle had in mind. And I agreed. But it also begs the question, if that's not what they had in mind, what do they have in mind? What did they have in mind? What does constitute good education?
There's a reason why we love grammar school students. It's because they, and to some degree, I mean, I knew this long before my conversations with Blaine, where I now have a deeper understanding of why the transition is so smooth from the grammar school to a university that tries to take a pretty rigorous approach to a liberal education, broadly defined, no matter what the topic is you're studying. But look, let me try to make it concrete as I draw on the air, if that's not a bit of an oxymoron. But anyway, the point is that we attract some of the best students from right across Canada, 45 different countries. And even with that, the common pattern is they'll come in at that GPA point and it will drop in the first term or the first year. Usually, for the top students, it'll bounce back, sometimes more quickly than others, and off they go. They figure it out, right? They figure out what it takes to excel at the level that we're trying to challenge them. IB students generally don't dip nearly as much, or at all. Obviously, there's some variation here for individual students that are outstanding. Grammar school students, and I checked the data in the last couple of days knowing I was coming here, grammar school students generally don't drop at all. They'll come in wherever their GPA point is, and they pick up from there and move along, or in fact increase. And I think that says, and again, that wouldn't be Acadia specific. You can certainly talk to other institutions. I'd be shocked if they didn't have the same result. There is something about the rigor of the curriculum and how it's delivered. I really do think that Blaine hit on perhaps the most essential issue, and I'll try to give you a couple of examples from Acadia, I think that underscore. It's not just what is taught, it is how. What we're trying to pursue there is the same thing that Blaine described in terms of how you're trying to use an IB curriculum in a, the most important part may be less the IB curriculum and how you build those interconnections and contextualize it within the overall experience that the student is having. And that's what we find. I mean, what we find is you're delivering content, and his point, again, is one that I want to underscore. I was at a presentation this past week with the president of the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, and he threw up, what are the typical slides. The latest one, for if you're a teenager today, 65% of the careers that you'll have available to you haven't been invented yet. So, I mean, at one level, I think we just need, it's not that content is unimportant. It is just the didactic approach around fundamentally undergraduate education about delivering content is not the right question. It's just not the right question. One of the true aims of higher education is to launch yourself on a journey of imaginative introspection towards one's most authentic self. Right? And I actually think that there's so much power in that. There's absolutely so much power, because the potential that your sons and daughters and nieces and nephews and grandsons and granddaughters have, the potential they have is huge. And the challenge is, how do you get it out of them? I don't think you get the kind of excellence that we've seen from grammar school students without a culture. Again, no, we haven't talked about content. We haven't talked about technology. Without a culture and an educational philosophy that produces it. And for those, I suspect it's been a few years since he graduated, but Matt Bluteau, who's one of your students, is now one of the Acadia nominees to the Regional Roads competition. So look, I'm not laying claim to that. Given what you gave us with Matt and his own personal attributes at one level you'd say it's not a surprise. But I do think it's a perfect kind of question for us both to ask is, I suspect Matt came a long way while he was here. I think he's also come a long way while he was at Acadia. And at the end of it, I think that's what a high quality liberal education is all about.